There's some great landscape design work here, but let's see if we can make it even easier to work with. If I click back onto Model, first thing I notice is that the background is dark and the text that's been placed in the drawing is vertical, and that makes it difficult to read, but it's a dark colour on a dark background. So the first thing I'm going to do is to go to View, Background Colour, and change from black to white. Now I can see things more easily. Now I would find it easier to work with this drawing if we rotated it so that the text then would read horizontally rather than vertically as it is at the moment. So I'm going to firstly make sure that all layers are turned on. The easy way to do that is to click in the layer stack and click on all used layers. That will filter the list a little, and then I'll right click and say I want the visibility of all layers to be on. And wow, that immediately creates some problems for me because there's a whole lot of information here on the left hand side which is hidden from view. Let's select, we'll say turn off our warning, and we'll say no. So let's just select some of those, and they're on a layer, on layer 0. Now layer 0 is a very important layer anyway, so this drawing is really getting messy to work with. So with this number of layers we really want to remove some of those layers, but I digress a little. The first thing we'll do, we are going to move some of these out of the way and probably delete a number of them, because a drawing carrying all of those is carrying a lot of extra baggage. So we'll go to Tools now and select All, and then we'll right click and select the Rotate command, and we're asked for a base point. You could click anywhere you like, but I'm in the habit of typing 0, 0, and we're going to rotate clockwise, so we'll go minus 90, and that rotates everything. I'll right click, unselect all, and just dive in here. Now we can read our text a lot more easily. The next step is to move, as a first step, to move some of these symbols which are on layer 0, a very important layer that you can't remove from any gCADPlus drawing, and I want to move those out of the way. And I suspect what's happened, all of those symbols are being thrown into this drawing, and in fact some are used but the majority are not. So the file size here has been bloated. A quick way to isolate a layer, get those symbols on layer 0 and move them out of the way, is to use under Tools the Isolate Layer option. So up pops dialog box, and I can slide this up and pick layer 0. That just isolates layer 0. I'll leave that rectangle there, but all of these symbols here I can now select. It is now easy to select all of that group and delete them. Then we can go back to our layer, all use layers on, and OK it. And we still have a few individual symbols which we can now select and get rid of these. So I'm sure they're there by accident. And remember, what we're trying to do here is clean this drawing up, make it easier to use and easier to work with, and much smaller. So the drawing now, when we start working with it, will load very quickly indeed. Now when we look at it, this rectangle clearly is of no value to us, so we can erase that. So we'll zoom extents. There's a little group of symbols through here that also need to be removed. Since we've rotated the layout, I think we need to edit that in layout space, and I'll go to the layouts manager and change from landscape to portrait, and we'll OK it, and then we'll bring our floating viewport to match the new sheet, and I can double click in there, just adjust our floating viewport so that we get maximum display and display it on the layout, and we're done. What I'd like is to have down in the bottom corner of each layout sheet the title block information, rather than have it in model space. So what I'm going to do is go into here, select that title block information, back into the layout, and I'm going to use the blocks command, and so I'm going to add from another file the Botanica title block, tick that little box and say I'm going to, yes, to insert it into the drawing, and I'll specify the scale as 0.5 and we'll OK. So in, if you look, in can go our title block information like so. So it's a block. We can edit the block later to edit information about client name and project and so on, but we can put that very same block on every other layout sheet. Here's one labeled rear. So let's zoom extents, so we can return to our model and get rid of, in fact we can get rid of that one, which is another copy of that block, and what we'll do is get rid of the layout, because we can run that at any time and change the orientation of that layout sheet. So we'll delete that and zoom extents. So there's our drawing in all of its glory, our design in all of its glory. And regen, there must be something down here that's outside, because my zoom extents doesn't give me what I want. Let's regen the drawing and zoom extents again. Now we're right. So there's our model space. We can see all the text because we've changed the background to white. We've got our drawing sheet organised reasonably well, although we want to select the floating viewport and move it up like so. We might even want to bring that down. We might want to show the whole site. So in order to show the whole site, we double click on here and move that down, make it a little larger and display that on the sheet. And again, bring it down so that we can see and unselect all. Well, we're nearly there. We need to come down just a little more. And there we are. So we've got the whole drawing easily managed to this point. There's quite a lot more to do, but we're heading, I think, in the right direction to be able to manage this information really easily.